Couple of reminders before we get going here. As a courtesy to your fellow media members, the coaches and student athletes, please silence your cell phone. Also a reminder, recording press conference on your cell phones is prohibited. Recording video press conference on your cell phone is prohibited. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during the press conference. We'll have 2 mic runners in the room. Please wait for the microphone to reach you before asking a question. Now joining us, members of the LSU Tigers, head coach Jay Johnson, student athletes Kason Evans, Jared Jones, and Stephen Milam. Gentlemen, congratulations on your victory and advancing in the winner's bracket. Coach, we'll start with an opening statement from you.
Yeah, great win for our team. Really proud of them. The mindset piece with the disruption of the game last night because of weather. I thought the response in the first inning after giving up 3 to come back and score 4 was very much in character for our team. I think Anthony did a good job settling in and getting us 2 zeros, and then really good first inning, as I mentioned, with 2 strike hits by Steven, by Jake Brown, setting the table for Jared's homer, and it got us off and rolling. Big 2-out hit by Luis in the 3rd inning yesterday, and love the tempo that Kason set today. I thought he was outstanding, as he always is, and then. Again, good job by our offense. 2 outs, nobody on, and get a couple guys on and get them in with more really good 2-strike hitting. And then Kason continued to do his thing and turned it over to Cooper. Got us a big out, and then Chase was awesome again. And get reset and get ready for tomorrow night.
We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes. Please remember to state your name and media affiliation.
Scott Ravelay with the Baton Rouge Advocate. For Jared, going back to last night, your home run and the 4 runs y'all had in that inning, you turned the momentum completely around on them. Originally, as Coach Savage just said, they were always kind of having to battle back the whole game. How important is that? What did that feel like for you guys after you were able to get that 4-run inning and take that lead?
Yeah, I think it was big for us. I think Anthony does a better job as the game goes along, so I knew that he was going to settle in and do his deal. And offensively, we just wanted to start the game on the right note. We talk about winning every inning. Obviously, they put up a 3 spot in the top half, so to win the inning, we got to put up at least 4. And it just so happened, and that's kind of how the game works sometimes. And we just kind of stuck with it, got off to a good start, took quality at bats all game long, and led to a lot of success and a lot of runs on the board.
Hey, Glenn Gilbo, Tiger Rag Magazine. Kason, were you going to pitch last night after the delay, or did you find out that it was just going to be today? And just what was your mindset going in with the delays and so forth?
Yeah, Coach Johnson had told me that once we got out of the delay that I would be on the mound, and then it got rolled over to today. So, just went back to the hotel and got ready for today, woke up early, and the mindset stays the same no matter when I come in the game, if I start or if I close. So I was just going out there and doing my best to help my team win.
Any more questions for the student athletes?
Noah Bienick, 11.7. Question for Stephen. Great start of the game yesterday. You have the break, you come out. Also individually, you have 2 really good halves of this game. Can you walk me through kind of your approach to the restart? And now UCLA is throwing a bunch of different looks at you guys. I'm not quite sure if you even saw the same arm twice.
Yeah, my approach stays the same always, and it's just trying to get a pitch that I can drive, and I gotta take what they're giving me, and I got good hitters around me that do their job, but just taking good swings. And yeah, we faced probably 4 different guys and different looks. They're sometimes tough, but just got to stay locked in and stay dialed in. Coach Johnson does a good job with the whole team getting us dialed in on that.
Kason, Jared, Stephen, thanks for your time. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good job, guys.
Now we'll open it up to questions for Coach. We'll start right here in the front.
Ken Rogers, D1 Baseball. Jay, one of the guys we've kind of talked about down the stretch at the end of the regular season was just getting Steven back on track offensively. Obviously, a big day. It seems like he's seeing the ball much better. Is there anything you kind of been working with him on just offensively to kind of get him more in a groove out here?
Yeah, he's got a great feel for baseball, and he's usually pretty quick to make adjustments. And I think he's had an outstanding year again. I think, when you play in our league and you face really good pitching, you're going to have that weekend, maybe you go 2 for 11, or those types of things. The defense hasn't wavered. I mean, he's been phenomenal. I think he has 4 errors on the entire season, made some key plays today, including the first ball, as the game got started. As far as the performance in the NCAA tournament, it's just really stacking quality at bats. And when he's focused on that and not trying to do too much, as he said, taking what the pitcher gives him, he's a really good player. And I think, I think it kind of can go unnoticed with our team. It's more than talent. It's really skilled baseball players, and he is at the top of that. And so when you have that kind of skill, you can make adjustments quickly and usually not stay down for long.
Scooter Hobbs, Lake Charles American Press. I'm sure your pitching plan was to get more than 3 innings out of Anthony. Nothing you can do about that. But how do you adjust with that, and where does that leave your pitching, having to use Kasem, like you did?
Well, I think never to look too far down the road in this tournament. I think you can get yourself in trouble with that. I think if you win the first 2 with only maybe 3 guys unavailable for the next game, you've probably done a pretty good job, and that's probably where we're at. I need to look at it a little closer. Don't have a pitching plan yet for tomorrow because we don't know who we're playing yet, via Arkansas or UCLA. Both are capable of winning that ball game tonight. So we'll stay in tune with that and then adjust. And that's what this tournament is at times. Had delays here, night games that ended up being day games the next day, and I'm just really proud of the way the team handled all of that.
Noah Darling, College Baseball Central. Coach, you talked a few days ago about your desire to go through the winner's bracket sometime, and now you're 2-0, so congratulations on that. How do you look in the past and say, we've been in the other position before? How do you prevent that from happening to you?
Well, I think that's a great question, and one thing I always tell the players is everything is training for something. And, we are in a similar situation in the regional, and a team played very good, and whoever we're playing next is fighting for their season. And so you have to bring the same type of intensity, to counterbalance, that focus and that motivation of that team. And I thought we did an excellent job of that in the Super Regional last week, and I think we've done an excellent job of it here. I think it's not just winning to us, it's how we win and how we get better at this craft of trying to be one of the elite college baseball teams in the country, and my message to them will just be to use their experience well.
Coach, right here, Michael Poggi, LSU Sports. Most of your hits and runs came off of 2 outs when there are 2 outs still in the inning. Kind of talk about your approach from Fry, Curiel, Jake Brown, just stepping up in the big moment, being patient, and finding the pitch to hit and getting you all going.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to that skill portion of baseball that I talked about. I mean, we certainly have great talent. Those guys you just listed off have great talent, but they're focused on what the game requires to win and their ability to stay within themselves, not try to do too much. And it's kind of special when you get to this time of year because nobody's thinking about anything but winning, and that's what we want our program to be about, is always placing the needs of the team above your own. Trying to do too much is not a plan. It's immaturity. And those guys have really grown and matured as hitters and players. And, fortunately for us, those guys that you just mentioned, we played them a lot last year. And, they went through some of those growing pains and seeing some of the fruits of that labor now.
Jay, obviously, I'm sure you felt Kaysen was a really talented player. You would have recruited him, but you never know how freshmen are going to react in development. Was there a point in the season when you could have projected ahead and said, if we get in these big situations, I'm going to be able to count on him to do the job?
I think it's a valid point because freshmen don't transition to the SEC or the highest level of college baseball like him very often, and so that's a very natural thought. But if you know this dude, it's the least surprising thing of the season, actually. And, I mentioned this the other day. I can't remember when it was. When we recruited him and got him, it was a big deal. Like I said, I canceled a trip to see one of my best friends get married because he was coming on a second visit. That's how important I thought that was at the time. And then, getting him through the draft and just how he talks, how he carries himself. Dad is a high school coach. Mom is a superstar. Brothers are great. And he's got ability. And very rarely, do you get that combination of talent, makeup, character, maturity that's ready for what we have to do. He has it. And so, in general, yes, surprising. No, in Kaysen, not really that surprising.
Noah Bieniek, 11.7. Coach, your coaching background has been West Coast, Arizona, Nevada, even San Diego, which I find very interesting that UCLA really didn't deal with a whole lot of weather issues this season, whereas it's been a steady theme for you guys throughout the NCAA tournament. You talked a lot about it prior to your regional and the whole scheduling the first game rather than the night game in the Baton Rouge regional. What have you just learned throughout your tenure in Baton Rouge?
Probably that the best weather for college baseball is in Tucson, Arizona. I was very underqualified as a weatherman coaching in San Diego, Reno, and Tucson. And it just becomes part of it. And as I mentioned, everything is training for something. I mean, it wasn't just the regional, super regional. I mean, we played 4 games at 10 p.m. this year. And we finished a couple at 1:30 in the morning. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world because my fans will stay. Now, we got to work on their alarm clocks because the send-off for the team was a little late this morning at 7:45. But they're night people, and provided we stay on schedule, hopefully we'll have them back out tomorrow.
Jacob Runner, Baseball America. With the way that Derek's playing and the contribution you got from Kaysen, what have you seen from this freshman class broadly, and how impressed are you by the talent that exists in this youngest group?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, and we had to get on it right away. This is a few years in the making. This just didn't happen overnight. It's not football recruiting where the guy flips on signing day and that sort of thing. Derek, I was pretty confident he was going to come to Arizona, and so the relationship had been built. And then when I came to LSU, that one happened pretty quickly. Kaysen was one of those in the normal recruiting period, September 1st of the junior year, and you're fighting everybody to get him. And there's more, John Pearson pinch hit in this game, William Schmidt, Maverick Rizzi, Cooper Williams, has been great for us down the stretch. And there's 7 of them that are on this roster. I would bet that's probably the most of any that's in the College World Series. And there's just that talent meets character, meets ready for the moment, type group. But it's been 3 or however long I've been here now. It's my 4th year, 4 years in the making. From Derek was probably the first one. I mean, we got Cooper last July, because of a coaching change. So I'm very excited to have that as the foundation of going forward. And as you can see, they're ready to help us win here now.
Kind of going back to the weather and stuff, the way it was setting up, the way Anthony had settled in. When all that happened last night, take us back. How frustrated were you, and what was going through your mind?
As you get older in coaching, something I try to get better at is not worry about things that I cannot control. Whether it's NCAA rules or the weather. If I could have the power to push back a lightning and rainstorm, I probably wouldn't be a college baseball coach. But I want to set a good example for the team. You know what I mean? If I'm frustrated and, making it a thing, then they're going to make it a thing. And it's my job to lead and not make it a thing. And so that's what I chose to do. And you got some of the smartest people in the NCAA running this deal, and they thought we had a window now, and hopefully the sun's out, hopefully it stays out, and we can get the tournament back on track. But I told the players, we literally finished the game 13 hours later than we would have. So is it really, it's only a big deal if we make it a big deal.
We'll take one more question.
Jay, you've talked in the past about, I don't know if it was Arizona or not, how your season ended in 24 hours. You're going into a situation like that potentially today, I guess. How much did that ever enter your head, and how important was it? Every win's important, I get that, right? But how important was it to avoid that situation?
Yeah, I met with Nate and Jamie last night once we got back to the hotel, and, mapped out.
Coach. Sir in the back.
And we mapped out the bracket and all scenarios of how we were going to attack it. Because, again, it's a double elimination tournament. It's not a death sentence to lose a game here. And like I said, we've lost that game and been to the finals twice after losing that game that we just played in. So it was important, but me adding that to our team is not going to help them play the way that they're capable of playing. And maybe it wouldn't matter because I believe in their mental strength so much, but obviously important, but focusing on what we needed to do to play well in the game was the entirety of the discussions with the team.
That'll conclude our press conference, Coach. We appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Coach. Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you for joining us.